I have a small ashram in the Himalayas. Actually, I'm just now building a small ashram, and I just have a couple rooms at present. I stayed in ashrams for 16 years and spiritual communities before that. I was in the Yogananda ashram for 4 years in California, and then came to Shivananda ashram and stayed there 12 years in Rishikesh. And then I felt the need to go more into the forest, partly to do more private meditation, away from the busyness of the institution, and also to be more in communion with my idea of how a yogi should live, because I had this idea that yogis live more outside in communion with nature and live very simply. So the first place I started was actually just near Shivananda Ashram in Rishikesh. I started going to the forest to meditate. I still lived in Shivananda Ashram. I would go in the mornings and meditate in the forest, and then in the evenings again, and then come up for the evening satsang. And eventually, because of large snakes, poisonous snakes, and animals that rat biting my fingers when I'm meditating in the night and jumping on me while I'm meditating, and other animals and such that came, I made a little hut. I wanted to have a little bit of protection and be able to keep a few things. And eventually I made the hut solid, and then my guru told me to live there. He was very happy about it, said, "You're still part of the ashram." And I lived there for 4 or 5 years, really. It was a total of 7 years I was going to that area. Eventually I had to leave that because it was government land, and the government allowed me to stay for those years, but eventually I did have to leave that place because Indian government got more strict gradually as it internationalized and made its laws a little stricter and enforced them. And people helped me buy a small piece of land above Rishikesh on the mountain above the Nilkanth temple. Nilkanth is where Shiva drank the poison and held it in his throat in the churning of the cosmic ocean, the story from the Shiva Puranas. So our land is above the temple in a forested area overlooking Rishikesh. Is extremely beautiful. And there's a lot of wild animals there. There's lots of leopards. I see leopards fairly regularly. The villagers say there's tigers and lions in the national park just next to us. We border one of the major national parks of India for wild animals. I've not seen tigers and lions, but they say there are, and I believe it. There was a python the other day when I was leaving to come to Germany. We were driving out of my land, and the village women came to cut grass, and they said there was a huge python. I had seen a python before. I tried to touch a python. I went under the bushes because there was a python in the bushes, and it had eaten some animal, and the animal was moving in its stomach. And I thought, well, the python won't hurt me if it's eaten an animal. So I snuck up and tried to touch its tail. It turned around looking at me. And I said, okay, I'll let you be. And elephants come sometimes. In the national park, there's many elephants, and I've had a number of encounters with elephants and many encounters with leopards. Our ashram my idea for our ashram is a small ashram for individual spiritual practice. It's not an ashram for much teaching. People can come and have a private room with a private bath, small, and do their own individual sadhana. If a couple comes, then they are not to be in any kind of romantic situation together. They come as individuals for their spiritual practice, so they stay in separate rooms. I don't know that children can do much spiritual practice yet, so I haven't decided how to deal with that yet. At present, I've only built a few rooms, and only one room so far for guests, but people are welcome to come. Eventually we'll build a small hall, yoga hall, that can handle maybe 15 to 20 people maximum, and we'll have enough rooms for 12 to 15 people, something like that. We have a really good relationship with the villagers. They actually are helping me to build the place. And the Nilkanth temple is just 15-minute walk away. You can walk to Rishikesh in about an hour and a half through the forest. There's the main pilgrim route that goes to the Nilkanth temple. And just 2 kilometers away from us in the forest is a very famous cave. It's called Jilamil Gufa. And it's a huge cave with about 10 yogis living there, Babas. And it's supposed to be where Gorakhnath, the founder of the systems of Hatha Yoga and Kundalini Yoga, he lived there and did his austerities. And they say that when he was living there, that Ganesha did parikrama around the whole mountain, did circumambulation of the mountain in devotion to Gorakhnath in the temple. So people are welcome to come. I'd like to know you a little bit beforehand and know that you will engage in spiritual practice. You're not just a tourist. Otherwise, people can come visit me, talk to me, and I can show you around the area. It's a very beautiful area, very holy area. Thank you.